Or have you ever had those fuck it moments where you're like, I really don't care whether I obtain this client or not. So
Yeah.
I'm going to just triple this bitch and I'm going to send it. I'm not going to even think about it.
It's confidence
I love
building,
that.
right? Because then the
And then
next
within
time
12 hours, they say, looks great. What are next steps? I'm like, no.
I have to
Well-
actually do this now.
I feel like that is actually a part of the process of becoming a high ticket designer, because every single designer at some point, no matter what stage they're at, if you want to get to the next number, like Marissa and I just sent out our first 50K proposal this year.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had never done that before.
Mm-hmm.
So in that moment, we were like, I'm scared. What if we don't get them? What are they gonna, and
For sure.
you have that same exact feeling no matter if you're going from $500 to $5,000 or $5,000 to $10,000.
Yeah.
Usually you're like, I really want this, I really need this, but you have to just do it anyways. And then when it works out, you're like, I can charge that much. Let's keep going.
Right. Absolutely. Do you mind us asking what ended up happening with that proposal at 50?
They booked it.
Nice.
But then
They asked for more.
When we went to set our boundaries, we have a very structured way of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
They backed out. And we came to the realization that they were making so much money and could afford that rate because they had no boundaries in their business.
Okay.
So we learned from the experience that, hey, we do have something, that we can offer for 50K. It does make sense, but maybe these people who are ready for this also need to be eased into our boundaries and our way of doing things. And so we learned a lot from that.
Did you ever obtain disclosure about the one area of that structure that you presented that they were not okay with, that had them back out?
They wanted to take phone calls in the middle of like the strategy session, and we were asking for like, you're spending a lot of money on us to be there. Let's like be present in the moment so that I can flow with you. And if you're going to jump up every 5 minutes to take a phone call, then what are we doing? Like,
right.
I would be doing you a disservice to allow that to happen. Of course, if it's a family emergency. Yeah.
Totally.
But, yeah. I was like,
interesting.
This probably
it
isn't
was bad.
Work.
Guys, like it was we were getting ready to book our flights to go do it in person, and we're like, you need to let us know, like, is this time good? Because Marissa needs to get childcare because they don't run their business with that type of structure. When we went to enforce it, it was a lot of resistance. And so we just learned, okay, if we're going to work with someone like that, we need to learn how to enforce those rules much slower.
That is probably in hindsight best, because maybe that was going to be a point of contact client that was going to obtain billing and not care to pay at all.
Could be.
Yeah.
And you would have booked flights in the interim and run all these practices and exercised some initiatives in the beginning of the process.
Yeah. I mean, after that happened, I was like, I don't know if I want to work with someone like that. And like, it was great to be able to say, we booked a 50K client, and like, we sent that, now we know how to structure those proposals. And it was a lot different than our other projects we had done. So like, it was a great learning experience, but in hindsight, I'm like, I'm kind of glad that they didn't go through, because I think that would have been a big issue for me personally.
Yeah.
That's such a interesting little small detail that you found out before you were actually in it. Like, I'm really, to me, I almost feel like that wouldn't have been discovered until everything was signed.
Later in.
We flew and we were having that first conversation. So good that you guys discovered that up front, to see that, whoa, this would have backfired. That's interesting. That's really interesting.
It is.
Because I had a project very similar.
Story.
I had a project very similar where it was over 50, did it with a business partner, and we were flying up there 2 to 3 times a month, and we thought it was going great. What we didn't know was they were trying to art direct every single thing and not take our expertise in the industry that we were talking about. And it was 72 pieces of product that we were working on with them. And when we just started to see that our revisions and everything, every step of the way, just multiplied every time because of the 72 pieces, we were like, we're not making money. We're just not making money on this. And so in hindsight, we looked at it and said like, whoa, just like you said, we thought this 50 was so far too much. It should have been 125.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. And just to say that, I think you were right. You have muscle memory now of going through that process and writing that number down and saying, fuck yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
Even if you just do that and it's a complete no, I think every designer, individual or team, has to go through that to be like, we've at least tried it. We've done it already.
Nick, how far along were you into the entire project?
We were at halfway.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Kenzie, much prefer your point in the story where you and Marissa were like, whoa.
We finished it. I got a great, we got a great piece.
Portfolio piece out of it.
Again, it did give me the courage now to the next time, even just independently, not with this business partner, to drop a 15, 20, K project invoice or proposal. Yeah. It was, I still wouldn't change a thing. It's just, those are certain things you can't control. Yes. I wish there was a way, but now like you said, they had a very different way of working that we did. I totally agree with you. Now my process explains the fact that you're hiring me for the expertise I bring. Your personal preference or whatever might be your problem with design has nothing to do with it, because we've created a brief. We know who our audience is. And so now I have that exit clause as well. We didn't have an exit clause at that one. So I've built up enough to know, it taught me some serious lessons. And like you said, Kenzie, you got to feel that pain to know how to go through the next one and cover your ass.
How many people cover exit clause, to be honest with you? Come on.
I'm hearing a lot more people.
Nobody talks about that.
But I'm hearing many more people, because of this transparency and podcasts and so many things on social media. Stories. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think that exit clause is now a must. Yeah. For both sides. For both sides. It benefits both sides. Right? Yeah. Yeah.
We even have, Kinsey, I want you to talk about this more, but we have a pause clause.
Yes.
In ours, and that has been so good and so needed.
Yeah, good. You know what? We should have expanded on that more, Nick, with that episode that Kenzie shared that was the one that she ended up listening to, where it kind of was a little bit of a bitch fest episode, to be honest.